Philadelphia Eagles select Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama.
What is going on, guys? What is happening? Welcome to Party on Broad. Special show here today. We are doing a full 2-round NFL mock draft. Guys, we are nearly 3 weeks away. For us degenerate NFL draft fans, it is nearly Christmas. Joining me, as always, my man Rob at Philly_Madness. What's going on, Rob?
I'm just glad you remembered to introduce me, since on Twitter today you elected to just give, Mark, who is my man, double the plug while I wasn't even involved on it. But that's all right. It's no big deal. At the end of the day, you did give me the Eagles, which is going to be a lot of fun here today. I'm excited, man. Like, you guys, all you guys are unbelievable with the draft, and I look at it more from a fan standpoint and like just kind of pick things up along the way. But doing this today is going to be a lot of fun. I can't believe we're only 3 weeks away, and I'm just ready to get started, man. I'm ready for the Eagles to crush my hopes and dreams as they always do.
All right, then we've got my man from Chalk Talk on Fox Sports, The Gambler. He is Mark Henry. Give him a follow at Mark Henry Jr. _. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm excited. I have a bunch of teams with 2 first-round draft picks here, so going to be moving around, I think, a little bit. It'll be fun. 2 rounds. We'll dive a little bit deeper into the second-round prospects that I have on a podcast yet, so excited. It's draft season, baby. It's Howie season. Rob up there, he's got to go put on his Howie Roseman jersey.
Love it, man.
I don't have my weasel costume ready for me today, or I would have worn that.
And then we've got a special guest. He is Cody O'Toole. Thanks for joining, man. What's going on, Cody? And where can we find you, man?
Fellas and everyone watching, what's going on? Good to be here, Dives. Obviously, know you're from the Suit Up Geeks, so happy to be chatting with you here. As long as all these Eagles fans, I'm the lonesome Patriots fan, so we'll just get that out there now. But you guys can follow me on Twitter, Cody_O'Toole. I talk sports on there, movies, all that kind of stuff. But I do like 10 or 15 mock drafts a week, so it's going to be fun talking with some folks about some players. It'll be fun.
Yeah, love it, man. Thank you again for joining. Guys, if you're watching us live, join in the comments, chat. Did we make the right pick? Did we make the wrong pick? Trash talk on all of Rob's picks. I need to see it. And starting off, Rufus says, Rob is obviously the same age as me. We have been beaten into submission over the years.
I have nothing left. Like, I just sit here and go, oh, that's great. We have 2 first-round picks this year, next year. How can we blow them? Like, that's my first thought. I hate it.
All right, guys, let's just roll off. So how we're doing this, trades are on the table. If everybody has a trade, anybody has a trade, kind of start getting this out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go pick by pick. Every single one of us has certain select teams. And leading us right off, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. You look at kind of what they need: linebacker, defensive tackle, edge, offensive line, wide receiver. They've got 2 first-round picks. But at the end of the day, this team was 21st in the league in pass rush win rate. Over the last 2 years, just 50 total sacks, second fewest in the league. I'm going what I think they're going to do, and I'm going to make this my selection here. I am making the selection Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson is one of the most purest pass rushing weapons in this class. Just a ton of finesse, amazing strength. His burst and technique at the point of attack is off the charts. And his strength at the line of scrimmage is absolutely elite. I think getting Aiden Hutchinson, the edge rushing class is the premier class in this draft, and getting one of those guys in Jacksonville is the best move. Aiden Hutchinson is off the board, which means Detroit is on the clock, and that goes to Rob.
Well, Detroit is a team that could probably use a guy at every single position on the football field. They do have 2 first-round picks, so they could really go in a lot of different directions here. But listen, you've seen the name mocked to them. They need edge rushers, right? And Dive just talked about how the top of this edge rushing class is the pristine group in this draft. So if you're picking a number 2, to me, it's too high for the quarterbacks or for anything else. I think they stick with the edge rusher theme and Dives with the sound. Or I believe, as the Detroit Lions GM, I'm going to take Trayvon Walker from Georgia.
Woo!
Jeez.
Edge rusher out of Georgia. You know, when you look, I'm a big fan of the eye test. And when you watch Georgia's defense, every single player on that defense was just a stud, especially that front. Trayvon Walker's a guy that I think that can finally give them a playmaker in the defensive line and can start Detroit in the building process to the right way, especially once they get Jared Goff out of there, which I'll see you guys at the end of the round for.
We have my man Ryan O'Toole says, "Whoa, another O'Toole. What's up, Pats Nation?" And Munchy Drip says, "I like Jordan Davis for the Philadelphia Eagles." Rob, get ready. You're going to be
Now he's in the room, man. He's ready to roll.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go on to our next pick, and that is the Houston Texans, which will be Mark.
So the Houston Texans are they want to know if the Jets, the Giants, or the Panthers have any interest in coming up. 'Cause there's a couple players here on the board that I think a couple of those teams would be interested. Do anyone in New York picking up the phone to come up to 3?
Definitely no one from the Jets. Definitely no one from the Jets. Nope.
Giants are hanging tight.
Giants are hanging tight. What about the Panthers? Carolina.
The Panthers like where they're at because they're another team that needs a person at every position, so they're good.
Does Seattle want to move up?
Does that mean
Just keep going
no?
down.
In a minute, I'm just going to move up and give you a 7th round pick. As desperate as you are to make this crazy.
Wow. That's not that crazy. All right. I'll do it. You can. So I'll take the best player in the draft. I do think that Houston and Jacksonville, you can say the same thing for both of those teams. I think both those teams would be in their best interest to try to move back. I think Jacksonville, you could make an argument for a lot of people in offensive tackle. I personally would prefer, 2 players that are sitting on the board right now to Hutchinson. And then there's O-lineman. They really need to protect Trevor Lawrence. And even if you want to drop back further, they could even get a receiver if they drop back. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like they're going to do what Dobbs did. And it looks like Houston's probably going to go edge rusher. But I'm doing what I would do. I'm playing GM today. I got the sticks in Madden doing the draft here. And I'm going with, wait, hit the music or hit the music for me. I'm going with my guy, safety, Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. He's the best player in the draft. I get that some people are going to be trepidatious about taking his safety up that high. I think he
10-yard split.
I think he transcends
10-foot.
My bad.
No, you're good. I was just making sure that wasn't me. He transcends the safety position, in my opinion, at 6'4". Just watch what he was able to do in that Florida State game in the first game of last year. I think Kyle Hamilton slots in, and like Rob said with Detroit, and PFF says it right here with the needs for Houston, every position. And if you look at the depth chart, you could really make an argument that Houston could make a pick anywhere here. So when you're that early in a rebuild, you have to go best player available. There's another player that I would not mind taking here, but that was why I was interested in moving back. But I'll stick with Hamilton at 3.
Good
Love
pick.
it.
Good pick.
Kyle Hamilton there to the Houston Texans, which means I'm on the clock. Cody, get ready. You've got back-to-back picks soon coming with the New York Giants. But for me, this is a no-brainer. This is one of those run up to the podium calls for the New York Jets. The Jets sit here. You look at their needs. They need kind of edge. They need a wide receiver. It's they need to build around Zach Wilson, last year's number 2 overall pick. But at this part of the draft, you go and get the most elite talent available, and there is no question that pick is Ahmad Sauce Gardner goes to the New York.
That's not where I thought you were going.
With pick number 4, just if you want a future lockdown cornerback on the outside, this is your guy. Since 2019, has yet to allow a touchdown. He's scored 3 of his own, and he has a passer rating allowed of 35.3. Great length, speed, short area burst, fluid hips, just needs to add a little bit of strength. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, man. If this was actually happening, I would be absolutely devastated as an Eagles fan, with the slim hope that he falls a little bit. But Gardner goes to the New York Jets, and that means the New York Giants are on the clock, and that is my man Cody.
Well, as a Patriots fan, do not want to face Sauce Gardner twice a year, but I'm the New York Giants right now. So this is an interesting spot. I did not expect the 2 offensive tackles to be here at 5, which I think is the biggest need here for the Giants. You think about Daniel Jones and all of the new GM and the head coach are saying, we want to see what Daniel Jones is all about. We want to build around him. I think they want to give him a fair shot before they decide what they want to do with him going forward. And I have Evan Neal and Akeem Ekwonu to choose between here. Both have a lot of promise. Maybe one a little bit more safer than the other, but the other one maybe has a little more upside. And I think when you think of pass blocking, I think of Evan Neal. But when I think of run blocking, I think more Ekwonu. And I think with Saquon Barkley and wanting to get him back on the ground running, hit that music. I'm going to go with the upside here in Akeem Ekwonu. I'm going to take Akeem Ekwonu. Yeah.
Ike Ekwonu is off the board. Dude is an absolute monster. An absolute monster. There we go. And that means the Carolina Panthers are on the clock, and that is Rob.
And, now we're in a bit of a situation. I don't know. Look, Carolina needs a lot of help. If this was the Eagles, this is a perfect, you build in between the trenches. But it's not the Eagles. They will come later. And I think this is where Carolina could and probably should turn the draft on their head a little bit. All right, because you have Matt Rule, who it just has not necessarily worked for the former Temple and Baylor coach at this level. He's tried all different things at quarterback, and none of them worked. So, with the 6th pick in the draft, Dibes, Carolina will start the quarterback run early, and they will pick Malik Willis out of Liberty. Now, listen, you could hear either one of those top 2 guys' names here, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think that they're going to want the guy with the athleticism a little bit more, the guy with maybe what a lot of people are saying is the higher ceiling, although it might be more time to develop. But I think Malik Willis would be a pick. Right now, Carolina needs to get their fan base excited again. And if you draft a guy like Malik Willis, it could be enough to get them on board and say, okay, now we're starting to build something. We got our quarterback. Let's start from there and keep moving forward.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. This is where it gets interesting. What do you all think? The Eagles need more cornerback or wide receiver? For me, it's 100% cornerback.
Center.
I think the cornerback drop-off after round 1 is pretty significant. I think there's a good chance a very good wide receiver will be available on day 2. Wide receivers are a much deeper class in this year's draft. So for me, it's cornerback solely because after Andrew Booth Jr., after Kaiir Elam, I'm not that high on Trent McDuffie. After that, it gets a little muddy, whereas there's some really good talent like Christian Watson, George Pickens. There's some. I'm sorry?
David Bell.
David Bell.
My God. David
Bell. For me, it's defensive back. But let's roll on. And I think it's Cody with the New York Giants.
It is. And this is a tough spot. There's a couple of guys I'm looking at here for the Giants. Again, talking about helping Daniel Jones. Could I go on that side of the ball again? Or do I look at some of these edge rushers that are still here? Also, I think a big need for the Giants going into this season here. This is tough. Before I make this pick, I'm going to ask, does any of the next 3 teams want to trade up? Atlanta, Seattle.
The Falcons are passing.
All right. Seattle.
I think Seattle is very comfortable where they are right now.
And I'll ask the Jets. Jets are good too?
Jets are good. The Jets definitely like the way this board is falling right now.
Jets are liking it, huh?
I think
All
the
right.
Jets should. I think the Jets should give the Giants a call across the hall. Personally, if I was a Jets fan, there's a player on the board that I'd be screaming to call the brethren. But that's
Are you sure? Final call here, Jets. You good?
Jets are. Let's look at my needs real quick. The Jets are looking at. Yeah. No, I'm gonna let it play out. I'm good. I'm gonna let it play out.
You're gonna let it play out. All right, I'm gonna go with the pick. You know what? I'm feeling a little spicy with this pick. So hit the music for me.
You got it.
I feel like they're gonna go offense. Give me Garrett Wilson from Ohio State.
Woo! So here comes the run. Is that why you were looking at me there?
Yep.
Garrett Wilson is off the board. An absolute monster. Maybe this is the wide receiver run.
That's not the player I was thinking when I was talking there. So the Jets, if I was a Jets fan, I'm still happy.
All right, let's go to Mark with the Atlanta Falcons selection.
So this is outrageous a little bit. Yeah, there's a player there in Kayvon Thibodeau that I think should go first overall or second overall. So that's crazy, but the Falcons aren't going to do it. They're going to announce a trade with another team that I am controlling in the New Orleans Saints. I'm picking up one. I'm like who's the guy with two phones in the meme? I forget. Whatever. But I'm trading the 16th and the 19th pick that New Orleans just stockpiled up. That's what I think that they're looking to do here, to get up to 8, to get in front of Seattle, Seattle's looking at a quarterback. Atlanta's also looking at a quarterback. But what's happening is their guy went. I think they want Malik Willis, and he's gone. I think New Orleans, if you give me 16 and 19 for 8 and 114.
All right, hold on.
It was the trade I was cooking up.
All right, 16 and 19 for 8
and 114. So yeah, that's the. Yeah, it doesn't ever let you do it when you. Yeah, it's always tough. So that's why we did PFF here.
What's going on? It's like there's a pop-up. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So the Saints are moving up, and they're clearly trading. They traded their pick next year. They're trying to compete. And if you're trying to compete and you're also drafting a quarterback, the guy to go get is Kenny Pickett. So hit that.
Wow.
The Saints try to find the Drew Brees successor here. I don't think it's Jameis Winston up to torn ACL. They select quarterback. You're going to have to scroll a long way, so you might just want to do it by position. You might want to do it by position. PFF has him in like the 40s. But I think the Saints move up here and they take Kenny Pickett. And he's a guy who I think is by far the most NFL ready of these guys to step in right away and play. He's my personal number one overall quarterback in the draft class. I do think that there is a ton of Joe Burrow similarities to the way that he was able to rise in his senior year and the way that he was able to impress and a lot of the moxie that he brings. I always bring up that fake slide, but the IQ that Kenny Pickett brings to the field is evident. And even before he broke out in his senior year, he was not turning the ball over, even when he was a game manager his first couple years at Pitt. So I think Kenny Pickett's a guy who you can plug and play right away in New Orleans. New Orleans, they still have some other needs. So maybe that's not smart trading 16 and 19, but I think it's something that they might do. So Kenny Pickett in the in-division trade there with the Saints and Falcons.
Crazy.
Wow, man. I absolutely love it. Rob, you better be on that fucking phone, man. You better be on that fucking phone. If I'm an Eagle fan, I'm having a heart attack right now, which means, Rob, you are on the clock here with the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, listen, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with Seattle, and Seattle told me to go fucking screw myself. So, I mean, I don't know what else to do. You know, Seattle is a team that I think since I started watching football needed offensive line help and have ignored it. And now they don't have Russell Wilson, so they're going to ignore it again here. But it's more understandable here. Look, there's been, in my opinion, a massive slide of one certain player on the defensive, from the edge position. For whatever reasons, people are coming up with, It's not as bad as smoking weed through the Bane mask or anything like that on the night of the draft. But for whatever reason, he is slipping. And Seattle, who is looking to start it over, I mean, it's very clear what they're starting to do there. Would love to get an anchor on that defensive line, and they are smiling ear to ear. So, Dives, please hit. And out of Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau will become a Seattle Seahawks mauler on that defensive line. Look, this guy was being touted as a number 1 or 2 pick through most of like the end of the football season and the early part of the offseason. And things have changed, right? Things have kind of gotten goofy. But that doesn't necessarily mean a player isn't still an excellent football player. And Kayvon Thibodeau is just a disruptive force. And Pete Carroll is going to be thrilled to get him at pick number 9.
Wow. All right.
They tried, guys. They tried.
I am devastated.
But Howie doesn't like giving up second-round picks that he could use on a quarterback. So,
all right. So here we are. We are now at pick number 10, the New York Jets. I've got the New York Jets. We're back on the clock. What did I address in the first selection? And that was defense with Sauce Gardner. It's time to get my guy, Zach Wilson, some help. I'm going with my number 1 wide receiver on the board. It's time to kind of give Zach Wilson, so a third down target, a red zone weapon, and I'm going Drake London out of USC, a big guy who I think will do wonders with Zach Wilson. So that is my hold on. Drake London out of USC, guys. There we go. Here we go. Let's make it official. Boom. Drake London. And that means Washington is now on the clock, and I've got the Commanders, and I'm looking to trade down.
Their phone is ringing. Their phone is ringing.
Yes. Washington Commanders here.
Who am I speaking to? You were speaking to Howie Roseman of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
This is very weird, I know, because we are in the same division, and there's a chance you might tell me to go screw myself. But last year, in a very similar role, after picking up an additional third-round pick, I moved up a few spots for a guy I was targeting, and I'm going to try and do that again right now. And I'm going to offer you number 15, and I'm going to offer you the second third-round pick. I'm not sure exactly what number that is. And I'm going to even throw in a sweetener of our last fifth-round pick for a 1 and a 6. So to come up to 11 and to get your 6th round if they have one. I don't even know if they have one. Not gonna lie.
Can I get 51? Is there any discussion on getting 51 from you?
There's no discussion on 51, but I am willing to part ways with one of my thirds.
Yeah, we'll do it. All right.
Oh, hang on. Hey, wait. The Chargers are online.
All right, I'm listening. I am definitely listening.
All right, can you pull up the Chargers picks, because I don't know who the picks they got.
You bet.
Don't ruin this for me.
Let's see here. So I'm willing to give you. I definitely know I'm willing to give you 17, but I got to see what else they have.
All right.
17.
Oof, they don't
really have that much.
They really don't.
Hang up on them, Commanders. You got enough lawsuits against you right now.
All right.
How about okay.
Yeah. Eagles for a third-round pick.
Arizona might be on the phone.
Arizona, what are we doing here?
It's trade, Commanders. You're taking too long, damn it.
Can I get
Daniel Snyder abusing people in his office?
11 for 23 and 55. We cool?
Man,
that's a lot. I wouldn't do it, Mark Henry.
That's an interesting decision. And you know what? The Arizona Cardinals are into it. Let's move on. Arizona's giving up the second.
Wait a minute.
Let's do it.
1 second.
Oh,
absolutely not.
I was coming in with 15 and 51. See, you didn't even give me a chance.
Oh, Dodge.
Oh, well. Anyway, Mark, you are on the clock here with the Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona is going to move up here, and they are going to take a guy to put across from J.J. Watt and to succeed J.J. Watt going forward. And a guy who, if you look at like the ceiling outcome of him, you can squint and see like, 90, 95% of what J.J. Watt brings. So hit that music.
Wow.
Maybe, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, that's a bad omen for the pick. That's a bad omen for this pick. But defensive end George Karlaftis out of Purdue. Put him on the other side. He's actually a top 5 prospect for me in this draft. He's a guy that I absolutely love. I think he's a guy who's going to have a Justin Smith type career if people remember him from San Francisco. But there's a lot of J.J. Watt qualities to what he was able to do at Purdue, bouncing inside and outside and affecting the game in so many different ways. Great against the run, great against the pass. They need help for J.J. Watt, especially after losing Chandler Jones. So I think George Karlaftis makes a lot of sense to Arizona. And there's a good chance Karlaftis is falling farther than, I think he should. There's a chance Karlaftis is there at 23 for Arizona to pick. But I made the move up to get him because I know personally that I would have taken Karlaftis at 13, 16, or 19. So there we go.
Love George Karlaftis, which means the Minnesota Vikings are up. Rob, you're on the clock.
And look at that. The Eagles in Minnesota are talking. And the Eagles... because,
I knew I wasn't taking your guy anyway. So.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. So the Eagles have called Minnesota and said, look, we've done some things in the past. We screwed up and gave you Justin Jefferson a couple years ago. You're welcome for that. The Eagles are going to offer the first and third, but I got to tell you, we got a comment while this was all going on from Rufus, and I think that this might be something that Minnesota might be interested in because they do need a little offensive line help. So we throw in a sweetener of Andre Dillard with that first and the third to move up from 15 to 12. It's not a big move, but it could become an unbelievable franchise-changing move. And the Eagles are going to jump up to 12 here from 15. And with the 12 pick, the Eagles will finally do the right thing. They will draft a position they truly need from LSU. Derek Stingley Jr. will now be the second corner with Darius Slay in their defensive backfield. And Philadelphia, rejoice, because this kid, it's easy to forget about what he did a couple years ago, but he's a gamer. He's got that it factor, and I think he's out to prove something, and we are going to love him in Philadelphia.
Love it, man. Well done, Rob. You made me proud. You absolutely made me proud.
Way better than Howie, guys. Way
He
better.
might be the number 1 corner.
He may be. I mean, he really may be.
He's my number one.
If he's freshman Stingley. No, he's not. He's actually number 3 for me in the draft class, but he's top 8 overall for me. So I love Stingley. I think if you get freshman Stingley from LSU, he might be the best cornerback prospect I've ever seen in a season.
Scary.
There's some concerns in the last 2 years, but Stingley, he's a stud.
Rufus says Eagles give Baltimore 15, Dillard Rigger for 14. We're already done with that.
Yep.
My man wants Jordan Davis really bad. We're still on the clock, man. Eagles are still they're still right in there.
Another pick, boys. Eagles got another pick. Everybody calm down.
Derek Stingley to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we are moving on. We're moving on now to pick number
13.
13 on the Houston Texans, and PFF says every position is a need. Mark, where are you going?
This fell right in my lap here. This is a boring pick. I'm looking at the big fellas up front to protect Davis Mills, I guess, or whoever is the eventual future quarterback. But I get the number 1 tackle, in my opinion, here in Evan Neal out of Alabama. I think that if Houston walked away with Kyle Hamilton and Evan Neal, hit that music. I keep jumping the gun. But tackle Evan Neal out of Alabama. I think that's a perfect fit here for Houston. So
that's highway robbery. How did he fall to 13?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Walking away with Hamilton and Neal, that's 2 top 6 prospects on my big board. So
yeah,
I'd definitely be happy. And they've got 37 coming up at the beginning of the second round.
All right, Baltimore is on the clock. Cody, where's Baltimore going here?
it's a great question. Great question. A lot of movement going around, and Baltimore was getting a little nervous, but I think they're feeling pretty good about where they are right now. So Obviously, Lamar getting hurt last year didn't help out their odds too much. But, coming in this year, I think they're ready. They got a new defensive coordinator. I think he's going to want some fresh new faces in that defense. So I'm going to take the next edge rusher on my board. Hit that music. The freakishly athletic Jermaine Johnson from Florida State is coming to Baltimore.
Love it, man. There he is. Number 26 for PFF. Wow.
He's a guy with the wide range for sure on a lot of websites and mocks.
Wow.
He's
Really high.
kind of
All right. The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock, and that is you, Rob.
And they're a little disappointed right now because they kind of had circled Jermaine Johnson as a guy to go. They need some defensive line help. They would have liked him there, but they had a couple other defensive linemen on the board. And I think that, look, they could have very easily stayed at 12 and went Derek Stingley Jr., but they elected not to. They elected to get an additional third-round pick and have decided to come back here. So, look, they're going to look at defensive linemen at this point again. To me, your top 5 defensive ends are off the board. No one else is really worthy of a first-round pick. But no one has dove into the defensive tackle game. And let's face it, Minnesota needs some help up front. And there's a couple big boys out of Georgia. And it's really, in my opinion, it's a matter of just who you like more as a player. So if you would hit that music. With the 15th pick, the Minnesota Vikings will pick Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Big body, maybe not as big as Jordan Davis, but a freak athlete. And I think that he's a guy that they will grow to really appreciate on that Minnesota defense. They put up a lot of points. They got to start stopping people a little bit better.
Love it. Jordan Davis is off the board, and we are rolling on to our next pick, which is the Atlanta Falcons. Who has the Atlanta Falcons?
That's me.
All right, Mark.
We moved down earlier from 8 to have 16 and 19, and we're sprinting to the board because a guy that we would have considered at 8 is still on the board. And we're going to scroll a little bit down, I think down to like 27 or 20-something is their ranking. So hit that music for me. I'm taking cornerback Andrew Booth Jr. for Atlanta. I think this is a slam dunk to move back, pick up the 19th pick, and get, in my opinion, the number 7 overall prospect and my number 2 cornerback. This guy he has 5 picks in the last 2 years, 9 passes broken up in the last 2 years. He was a 5-star prospect going into Clemson. This is a guy who I think can step in right away and play, and he also brings a high upside. You see some of the plays he's able to make, some of the one-handed interceptions, some of the crazy passes broken up in the end zone. This guy looks like a great red zone option. You're not going to be able to win 50-50 jump balls against this guy. So Andrew Booth is a guy that I hope is in midnight green very much. I very much would like to see him be a Philadelphia Eagle. Same with Stingley, tomato. But it's Booth is a guy who Atlanta fans would be jumping for joy if they were able to move back and pick up a corner like Booth. Earlier on in the process, they were mocked Sauce a lot at 8. Sauce Gardner at 8 was like a staple in every mock draft. Seems like Sauce, the prices went up on the Sauce. So I think he's probably going to end up in that top 5 now. So I don't know if Atlanta is even going to have a chance at them at 8. So I think that this worked out well for Atlanta.
Well done. Good selection. Love Andrew Booth Jr. And that means Cody is on the clock now with the LA Chargers.
I think Andrew Booth would look a little bit better in red, white, and blue, but that's all right. That's another day. A little disappointed in that pick, but we're here with the Chargers, and I was trying to move up earlier to get Evan Neal since he was falling for the Chargers, but I still have 2 really good guys here to take at the offensive tackle position. I think they really focused on the defensive line in free agency, so I'm not really in a rush to take that in the first round at least. I know Wyatt's still there, but I think with 2 really good tackles still on the board and one I think could still go in the top 10. He's that talented. Hit the music. I'm running to the board and taking Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Pair him alongside Rashawn Slater. You got your 2 tackles for the future for Justin Herbert.
Love it, man. That guy is a monster, an absolute monster, man. Charles Cross. It's a very good selection. Did my tackle rankings a few days ago, man. He's just a monster,
Mhm.
which means,
Great pass blocker.
oh,
He's
man.
perfect for the Chargers.
Yep. My man, our other monster of the show, Rob, is on the clock with the Philadelphia Eagles with pick number 18. Where are you going, man?
Do the right thing, Rob.
I gotta tell you, there is so many ways to go here. There's with my heart. There's what I think the Eagles will do. There's what a lot of people would like to see them do. I mean it, and then there's the old trade back scenario. If anyone called him, how he'd be listening, because there's probably about 3 to 5 prospects on the board that they'll be interested in at this point, that if they move back 2 or 3 slots or 4 slots, they know they would still get one of them. I'm going to go with me. Look, this is what I want. If this happened, if they got Derek Stingley and they came around and drafted who I'm going to say right now, I may never be able to say another bad word about Howie. Now, I know it's not going to happen, so I'll be able to say bad things about Howie. Look, the Eagles hadn't drafted a corner, I think, in the first round. I heard on the radio. Has it been since Lito and Sheldon? Have they drafted a corner in the first round since those guys? Am I missing somebody?
I know
No.
it's been a very long time. Yeah, I know
It's been a very long time.
No,
And
Sidney Jones and Zach McPherson. And
they broke that trend when they went up and got Derek Stingley. Well, they haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round in God knows how long. None of us were born. It was the 70s. I wasn't even thought of yet, and I'm 37 years old. So it has been a long friggin' time. But damn it, when there is a playmaker out there, when there is a guy that is who we've been yearning for my entire life, maybe, don't spit in the face of your fans, damn it. Dives, hit the music. With the 18th pick, the Eagles make their fans go crazy and draft Devin Lloyd, the linebacker from Utah. And guess what, baby? We are building a defense. We are building a defense.
Great pick.
Love it, man.
Great pick.
Go Birds.
Home runs, absolutely top to bottom. A+ with Derek Stingley and Devin Lloyd to Philadelphia, and that means my man Mark is back on the clock, right?
Yep, that's the perfect pick right there. He did the right thing. I'm happy. There we go.
They won't do it, but I had to do it.
And it leaves me an easy pick here for Atlanta, who I think is in the beginning of a rebuild. So they're taking a swing here. They're going to take a swing on a guy that has a really, really high upside. So hit that music, Dives.
All right, here we go.
Give me a guy who should be going in the top 10 if it weren't for an injury. Wide receiver Jameson Williams from Alabama. I think if you walk away, if you're Atlanta, moving back, picking up 2 first-round picks and getting Andrew Booth Jr. and Jameson Williams, a mock that I've mocked to the Eagles very many times myself. So I would love that for Atlanta, and it fits their 2 biggest needs, in my opinion, with cornerback and wide receiver, especially now that Calvin Ridley got suspended for gambling. So I think that's a great draft here start for Atlanta, who now has multiple second-round picks. So love how this worked out for them.
Well done. I think Cody has back-to-back picks here. Wait, Rufus says, we need Rob for GM. I'm making T-shirts. Oh, man. We got Fly Eagles Fly. We've got Derek Stingley Jr. and Devin Lloyd in Philadelphia. Rejoice, Philadelphia. And my man, Cody is on the clock here with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This is a tough spot for the Steelers. It really is. I was thinking about having them move up for one of those quarterbacks, Willis or Pickett. They're not here. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm the GM of the Steelers. So, man, tough spot here. Anybody from 21 to 30 wanting to move up?
Yeah, I'll move up. I'm definitely interested in moving up here with the Washington Commanders.
Okay. All right. What do we got?
Let's work this out. So, trade Washington. I'll give you pick 84.
84, huh?
Hey, sorry, that's your pick.
I was like,
I'll give you 113.
113. I'm staring at that 55. I'm staring at that 55.
No, because I need to. I'm Washington. I need to build. I'm in building mode.
Okay. Man. So you said 113. Let me look at
For
my
3
board.
spots.
I'm gonna have to say no to that. 55,
Okay.
you got a deal, but
All right.
I'm gonna say no to that. Anybody else interested?
You know, Green Bay's going to make a quick. Well, can someone tell me how many wide receivers have gone? I haven't kept track. I'm an idiot.
I believe
Three
it's
now.
just,
Three.
Yeah,
It's Drake, Garrett
Wilson,
Wilson,
and
and
Jameson
James
Williams.
White.
Drake, Garrett Wilson, and Jamison Williams are gone.
Two really good ones still on the board for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let me call Pittsburgh as the Green Bay as the Green Bay Packers here. I got to see who what Green Bay has as pick wise. My eyes are terrible. All right, so I got 20. So I'm going to give you 22. And because I'm the Green Bay Packers and I already have another first and second round pick, I'm going to give you, as crazy as it sounds, 59. But I'm going to look for 20, and I'm going to look for you to give me 84 back.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh will do that. We'll do that.
All right. Because I want to come up as the Green Bay Packers. Listen, we just gave Aaron Rodgers all this money and then traded away his best weapon. We have to keep him happy. And right now, we've got to go wide receiver. There's a couple on the board, but I'm going to go with who I have ranked higher out of the 2 or the 3, I should say. So hit that music. The Green Bay Packers will select wide receiver Chris Olave from Ohio State to become Aaron Rodgers' new favorite target with Devontae Adams gone. Look, you could go a lot of different ways at the wide receiver position here, but I think Chris Olave has a track record of making big plays, and I think he's a guy that Aaron Rodgers will enjoy playing with over the next couple seasons.
Love it, man. All right, Chris Olave is off the board.
The Kansas City Chiefs are harassing the Patriots right now to try to get on the phone. I don't know if the Patriots are taking phone calls, but Andy Reid is like knocking down the door, like the Kool-Aid man.
Bill's listening. Bill's listening, but he's got his hoodie on. What's going on?
Bill loves to move back. We know that.
He does. I'm listening.
Let's take a look at the trade dives.
You got it. All right, so
Kansas City and New England.
Kansas City and New England.
They've had some wars. It was right there.
All right, we go.
That
was right there.
So we'll give you 94 and 121.
You interested in 62 instead of 94?
Not really. I would be more willing to make 121, 103, or next year's third.
Next year's third. We did just lose a third. That's true.
Yeah, I saw that. That spawned my mind a little bit.
Okay. So, okay. That's interesting. Any other offers? I'm gonna politely decline that one, Andy Reid.
All right. Well, so okay, that's fine. I can't go any higher.
Andy Reid in his suit or Hawaiian shirt are miserable.
We're gonna call Pittsburgh after this if it doesn't go. If you don't go with the guy
All right.
who wants
Well,
to.
I'll be answering that one too. No one else interested?
Washington is liking how this board is falling right now.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna make a pick here because this is my team, so I've been wanting to do this. So, man, not loving how this happened, especially with our biggest need in corner. I would love to see Booth fall here, but it's gonna be pretty hard for him to fall here. There are still a really good corners on the board here. It's just, is it worth the 21st overall pick? Is it really that big of a need? We lost J.C. Jackson. I would have loved to see Devin Lloyd here, but he's off the board too. You know what? I'm going to make a pick here for the Patriots. Hit that music for me. Give me Trent McDuffie from Washington. I think I like that pick a lot. I think, not maybe necessarily an outside guy, could play outside, but I just think he's he plays all over the field. He's tenacious. So think Bill will like that.
Love it, love it, love it. Trent McDuffie is off the board, which means Pittsburgh's back on the clock.
Kansas City on the phone.
All right, I'm listening.
Same offer. It's the same offer.
Man,
That's what I have. But Pittsburgh already moved
Let
back,
me
so
look
they
at my
might.
board real quick.
Actually, you know what? You know what? Kansas City takes back their offer.
Okay.
We don't think Pittsburgh's gonna take that position. Actually,
Okay.
on second thought.
Okay.
So Washington, get your phone ready.
All right. I think Pittsburgh's gonna make a pick here. It's a tough spot for them here. It really, really is. But I think I'm just gonna go with what I think their biggest need is. What I think they will do here. Might be a little bit of a shocking pick, but I'll explain my pick once I make it. Hit that music. I think this guy's going to fall. He's not going to be drafted this high, but I think he deserves it. Daxton Hill from Michigan.
Woo!
Great pick.
Great selection.
Pairing him with Minkah Fitzpatrick, scary. That's scary. So
I like that pick, man. I could see him really thriving in Pittsburgh, man. I'd love that selection.
It's not who the Chiefs were trying to move up for, but he was the next on the board. After
Well,
that.
Washington is absolutely listening to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see what these trades look like here.
I think I have a perfect idea of what this is going to be.
Couple
then-
trades.
Yeah,
What are
give me
you thinking?
next year's third, and to replace the trade for Wentz. Next year's third and 103.
How about 94 in next year's third?
That's fine. We can do that.
all
All right. Kansas City has traded back, and Washington has traded back, and the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock.
And the Kansas City Chiefs are sprinting to the podium here. Andy Reid, like the Kool-Aid man again, sprinted to the podium. It'll be the first time he sprinted in a really long time. But they just traded Tyreek Hill, and they need to shore up that position. And when I saw the top 4 receivers go off the board, I knew Kansas City had to get that 5th guy, because I do think, even though there are more receiver options, I do think there is a little bit of a drop-off. So hit that music. The Chiefs are upset that Daxton Hill went because they were hoping to get him later, but we're going to take Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas, stealing him right in front of Dallas, who in real life, if I had to bet where Treylon Burks ends up, I do think he ends up being a Dallas Cowboy. But I'm snaking him away, and I'm taking Treylon for Kansas City. There's a lot of comparisons out there, whether you want to go A.J. Brown, whether you want to go DK Metcalf. You can definitely squint and see either. He's the type of guy who the physicality, there are things to be nervous about. Is he the best route runner? Does he have the widest route tree? Probably not. But when you have the athletic traits that he has, it's hard to ignore. And I think the teams have made those mistakes with guys like A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf in the past. I don't think they'll make it with Treylon Burks, so I think goes in the top 25, and I think KC would be happy with him.
Awesome. So that means the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. And with that being said, I think they're going to make a pretty much a no-brainer selection here, I think, for Dallas. Parsons is obviously on the rise. You look at their team needs here. Where should we go? I think I'm pretty good here making this selection. Dallas is going to stick with building through the trenches, and they're going to go with the other Georgia Bulldog on the defensive line, and that is Devontae Wyatt, just a 300-pound athletic marvel who can spy quarterbacks, can move. His lateral agility is obnoxious. Devontae Wyatt, helping that Cowboys defensive line here with pick number 24. And the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Cody.
I liked your use of obnoxious there. That was good.
Buffalo is on the clock, and they're ecstatic that their guy is still on the board here. You think about the Bills and what they do best, and that's offense. And you did lose Cole Beasley. You know, that's their slot guy, right? So why not fill that position with a guy still on the board? Hit that music. I'll take Jahan Dotson from Penn State.
Woo!
Yeah, put them right in the slot there. Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, Jahan Dotson, Dawson Knox. I'm looking all right.
Love it. Jahan Dotson there. To the Buffalo Bills. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Who's got the Titans? That is Cody again.
That is me. And I think this one is a no-brainer too. I think, again, they would love to have Devin Lloyd here, but they're not going to be that lucky today. But I think a guy who is falling a little bit just based on how all the trades have went, but could go a little bit earlier than this, fills a definite need and will play right away. Hit that music for me. You think of Mike Vrabel, the coach. You know, he was a nasty player, dirty player. Trevor Penning fits that mold, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. I think he comes in, helps that offensive line right away. Derrick Henry will be happy. And, yeah, just kind of fits the mold of a Titan.
Who was the pick again? Sorry?
Trevor Penning.
Trevor Penning. Just, he's been like the man of the hour over the last, 2 months, man. He's been everywhere. All right, let's go to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Pick number 27, and that is me. Look at kind of their needs here. I'm looking at how the board is falling. I'm looking at kind of where, you know, positions of need and how it's kind of going. The Bucks clearly need to add youth and depth on defense. I think both at defensive line and at cornerback. And for me, I'm going to take the best cornerback available. The one that I think has the highest ceiling going forward. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Kaiir Elam out of Florida. I think that is a top-notch prospect and has number one cornerback potential. Kaiir Elam to the Bucks. And the Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
Green Bay, I've been very quiet, as you could tell, for the last 4 or 5 picks. Really scrolling the board. Where does Green Bay go next? They need some help on that offensive line. They were just devastated that Trevor Penning went just a couple picks ahead of them as they cut Billy Turner this year. They could go guard help here, but I'm going to go with a bit of a surprise selection. Maybe a surprise selection. They want Aaron Rodgers to have weapons. They drafted Chris Olave, but a position that they really need to address is the tight end position.
Woo!
And it's early. I get it. But they want – guess what? Aaron Rodgers is in the war room with them. He's telling them what he wants. Does he want a tight end? Does he want a guard? Aaron Rodgers wants guys to throw to. So, music. The Packers will select tight end Trey McBride out of Colorado State to give another weapon to Aaron Rodgers in an attempt to say, we are sorry for trading Devontae Adams. Here's 2 guys for you to throw to.
I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. I just, I could see them going guard here. I could see them going that route, but they need some guys to throw the ball to on that team now without Devontae Adams. And I think this Trey McBride, if there is one tight end that has, could be drafted in the first round, it's this kid.
Yep. All right, I am on the clock again. The Washington Commanders are on the clock here, and we've traded back twice. We're in, kind of Sam Hinkie mode, stocking the shelves, trying to build for the future, and we are ecstatic. I think the biggest position of need for the Washington Commanders is at linebacker, and with that being said, we're going to make this selection. The Washington Commanders select Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. Just Commanders fans got to be extremely excited making this selection. One of the biggest needs is linebacker in Washington, and they get arguably a 1B talent in this draft, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs are they might be taking a player here who some people look at as a reach a little bit, but we got our receiver. I think that's our biggest need here in Kansas. I should have my Mahomes jersey on talking about but go to, I guess, hit that music real quick. Kansas City's going to take safety Jaquan Brisker from Kansas State. They wanted Daxton Hill, but I think that they get a guy who's only slightly lower on my board in Jaquan Brisker. I know it's not listed there. Cornerback is what's listed, but they lost, or it looks like they're going to lose the Honey Badger. So they have a big need at safety and in the secondary in general. And Brisker's a guy who I think you saw in the way he stepped up to make that huge play at the end of the Wisconsin game. It felt like anytime Penn State needed a big play this year, Jaquan Brisker was right there to make it. And I think he was the best player on that Penn State team last year. So Jaquan Brisker, I think he's a guy who can step in right away and play, and KC's going to need that.
Love it, love it, love it. Which means the Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock here with pick 31, nearly done with the first round. And I think this is probably the best pick in the entire first round. You look at the needs of the Cincinnati Bengals. We're just going to smash that sound. The Cincinnati Bengals are running to the podium to announce Tyler Linderbaum to the Cincinnati Bengals. And Cincinnati fans are going nuts that they finally got a center and to get some pass protection and a Pro Bowl center for the next 10 plus years. But just a no-brainer selection. We are next up with Rob and I think, right, the Detroit Lions.
So the Detroit Lions get to make another pick after picking number 2 earlier in this draft, after the trade of Matthew Stafford. So why not? Why not use the pick you got by trading your franchise quarterback on the guy you hope can fill in as soon as you can move on from Jared Goff? Do not be surprised to see this team doing this in this moment. I believe that at pick 32, the Detroit Lions will select Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. I think Desmond Ridder will be their pick. I think he's a guy that they think you let him develop for a year or so with Jared Goff there. You let him learn the position. And there's some, pretty decent upside there for him. Maybe he's the guy that can help move them forward. So now you got your edge rusher on the defense, and you got your quarterback of the future on night 1 of the NFL draft.
Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. That means the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. I'm looking at their needs here. You look at defensive line, linebacker, safety. You already got Aiden Hutchinson here with pick number 1. We're going to look at, I think a player that is just a monster at safety and a guy that can play on the box. He's not the fastest guy, but he's by far one of my favorite day 2 prospects in this entire draft. And that is Jalen Petrie out of Baylor. Just an absolute stud, big-time playmaker, thrives playing in the box.
Is that third safety off the board?
Daxton, Jaquan, and Jalen, yes.
All right. Well,
All right.
all right, so Detroit's up, and Detroit.
Can I, before Detroit makes their pick, and the Giants call up real quick?
Yeah, you can give us a call. Call.
I gotta look and see their picks.
Did you say the Giants?
Yeah, the Giants. Just want to see real quick. All right, yeah, definitely 36. How about let's see here. 36. We'll give you 81. And a third next year.
Whew. Man, and then I tell you, Detroit was ready to go up. They were ready to walk up to the podium. They just got the phone call. That's some pretty decent value. Third this year and a third next year, and you're only going back what, 2 picks? Or is that what it is? 2 picks? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll do it. Giants. I will allow you to come up, and I'll pick in a few picks.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely wanted to jump ahead of the Jets there because I feel like they're going to take this guy if I don't. I think this guy could fall into the first round late, so I'm ecstatic here as the Giants to get our edge rusher here. Hit that music. Boye Mafe from Minnesota is coming to the Giants.
All right, Boye Mafe. Dude has got athleticism for days. He's kind of a trendy name right now. You're seeing him all over these mocks, especially round 1, just like you said. And now the New York Jets are on the clock. I got to think about what we're doing here. What did we do round 1?
I was just going to ask,
Ahmad Sauce Gardner at pick 4. We took Drake London, wide receiver, at pick number 10. Where are we sitting here now? Pick 35. We look at kind of our needs here with the New York Jets. Edge, wide receiver, cornerback. We hit those top 2. I think we got to hit, I think we're going to go BPA edge. And I think the Jets are willing to wait a little bit because we're not winning a Super Bowl next year. Let's roll the dice on David Ojabo and see where this falls. David Ojabo to the New York Jets.
The Texans really wanted Ojabo at 37. Really wanted Ojabo.
All right. That means the Detroit Lions are on the clock.
And Detroit is very happy because the guy they were going to pick a couple picks ago still on the board. They got a third this year. They got a third next year, and they can address their secondary a little bit here. They're going to go to the safety position. There's one guy left that actually I thought might have gone before a couple of the safeties that were chosen, and that is Louis Cine from Georgia. To the Detroit Lions. They needed a safety. They got a guy that could very well go in the first round, and they're very happy about it.
Just a monster. Love Louis Cine. Yeah. Awesome. Rufus says if the board falls like this, Cowboys need to take Linderbaum. We'll see. Stay tuned. Definitely not Linderbaum, but I think we'll see. All right, let's roll on to the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans are still licking their wounds about Ojabo being off the board, but we're gonna look at wide receiver here. So hit that music. We're gonna take a home run swing with wide receiver George Pickens out of Georgia. He's a guy who I think has one of the higher upsides of definitely anyone you'll find on day 2, but I almost think you could make the case that he's got a top 20 ceiling overall in this draft. And, there's a lot of health concerns for sure, but like you said with the Jets, the Texans aren't winning anything anytime soon either. So they're willing to kind of, wait a little bit, get him in an NFL, medical staff. And you saw what he was able to do when he came off the torn ACL in the playoff last year for Georgia. So Georgia has a really run-heavy offense, and I don't think that George Pickens really got to exactly show who he was. You saw it when he burst onto the scene as a freshman with 49 catches, 700 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That was his best year. He never ended up following that up due to health and other reasons, COVID and stuff like that. So George Pickens is a guy who I think is going to be a better pro than he was a college player, and I think he fits in really well here for Houston.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. The New York Jets are back on the clock again. That is me. I'm looking at who's available. I think we're going to make maybe a little bit of a reach, but we'll see. I think this guy's name is definitely worthy of being in the top of the second round. We're going to go with, I think, a guy his stock is absolutely rising, and he is My guy, Christian Watson, out of North Dakota State, 6'4", ex receiver burner, can dominate special teams as a returner. Christian Watson, the New York Jets are absolutely crushing this draft. Christian Watson's his name has been all over the place with the Senior Bowl, the Combine. You can't teach the measurements that he's got, and if it clicks, my goodness. So the Jets go Ajabo and Watson, two big-time boom or bust prospects. Why not? That's the New York Jets. So that means the Chicago Bears are on the clock.
Man, Pickens and Watson were the two guys I was going after for the Bears. You lose Allen Robinson. Those two guys would have been great gets for the Bears here, but man, it's tough to see them go off the board here. But I did have a plan C, so I guess I'll stick with it. I'm surprised this guy's still on the board. I think he'll come in right away, be a day one starter for us. It does fill a need for this team, so hit that music. Since the Bears do have a pick at 48 coming up, don't think he'll get there, so I'm going to take him now. Give me Zion Johnson from Boston College.
Woo! He's a beast.
Yeah.
It's an absolute beast. Zion Johnson there, which means the Seattle Seahawks have back-to-back picks here, and that is Rob.
Yeah, and they are one pick they feel comfortable on. One pick they feel comfortable on. And I'm going to make that pick right now. And all
right, I'm done with the draft sound. Let's just keep rolling.
All right, don't let the Seattle Seahawks fool you. They're not okay at the quarterback position, and they're going to take one right here, right now. They will draft Matt Corral out of Ole Miss to replace Russell Wilson. So that is the first pick they will make. And then at that point, and that's what I'm kind of looking through here, looking at my draft board, looking at some things. It might be a little early, but, they need some linebacker help. Bobby Wagner is gone. They want a linebacker. It's early, but there's a couple that they may be interested in, and you never know, right? Second round, things will get a little goofy. Let's go back to that Georgia defense, and they're going to take Quay Walker, linebacker from Georgia, and they are just trying to get back to a point where that defense puts fear in people. And like I said, could be seen as early, but Seattle's willing to take the risk as this year isn't a Super Bowl year for them.
Quay Walker, the run of Georgia Bulldogs continues. I'm on the clock here with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm looking at my needs here. I'm at pick 42, wide receiver, cornerback. The wide receiver and cornerback position has been butchered pretty hard. I'm looking at some other needs for the Colts. You look at defensive end. I think I'm looking at PFF's rankings. You got Ebiketie, who I like. I'm going to go kind of off the board here. I don't think it's off the board. I think this is right where he should be. I'm going to go Drake Jackson, edge rusher for the Indianapolis Colts. Just a natural pass rusher. He's a pure edge rusher, so don't look for versatility out of this guy. But Drake Jackson is a solid one. I think this is a good pick for the Colts. And that means the Falcons are back on the clock.
So the Falcons are going to take a guy that I know Dodge is not very high on, and he's definitely fallen in the draft process. But the Falcons are going to take a chance because we shored up wide receiver, we shored up corner. So we're going to look at the D line, and we're going to take DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. We're going to take a swing on a 5-star. We're going to take a swing on a 5-star here, a 5-star prospect. He had tremendous pedigree going into Texas A&M. I think you had it scrolled down a little bit or is it on defensive end now?
Do they rank him as a defensive end?
They might. Wait, where?
Yeah, they did.
do. Yeah.
Interesting.
Marvin Leal, he's an interesting prospect. He didn't necessarily show everything that you wanted to see out of him at Texas A&M. I do think that you could compare his production to some of the Georgia defensive linemen who are going to go. But he did play probably a larger percentage of snaps there. But I think DeMarvin Leal is the type of guy who, if he puts it together, he can kind of do it all. This is a home run pick here, or a home run swing here for the Falcons, who have taken a couple of those.
Love it, love it, love it. Next up on the board is the Cleveland Browns. Who's got the Cleveland Browns?
That would be me. And it's a fun team to block for here because obviously they got a lot of newness going on right now. Deshaun Watson and Baker's still there. That's kind of weird. But I think what we need to do is definitely make this offense a little bit better for Deshaun Watson. Obviously, he's got Amari Cooper. That was a great get for them, but I think they still do need a little bit more in the receiver room there for them. So I'm loving this guy here for them. So I think he comes in. Sky Moore from Western Michigan comes right in, play that slot receiver for the Browns.
Love it, love it, love it, man. Guy's electric.
Yeah.
Electric. Ravens, what are you doing?
What are we doing? We took Jermaine Johnson in the first round. I thought that was a good get for us. But, I think we could double up there on the defensive line and take another guy here. But I think another big position of need for the Ravens. I'm looking at two guys here. Hang on one sec. Man. You know what? Give me Kyler Gordon from Washington.
Nice.
I think they definitely need corner. I think it's a big need for the Ravens.
There you go. Vikings, what are you going to do?
Man, I want to go defensive back here, and I'm a little concerned that it's a little early. There is a guy out there that's seen as an edge rusher that I think you could put in. We already drafted Jordan Davis to be our D tackle. Or I'm sorry, who'd they draft? Did I draft Davis? I drafted Davis, right?
Hold on.
I think so. Yep.
Jordan Davis.
Okay, I drafted Jordan Davis. But you know what? Who the hell cares? It's Minnesota. I don't care about them. And I'm going to pick the next cornerback on the board that I think could go, although it probably will be later in the draft. But I'm going to go Roger McCreary out of Auburn. They want to get a corner. They want to get somebody. Patrick Peterson came back. Patrick Peterson is 75 years old now. They need to get a young player here. Who better to learn from, though, than a guy like Patrick Peterson? They'll take Roger McCreary from Auburn.
Roger McCreary is off the board. Well done, man. I was looking at that guy. I was really looking at that guy. Washington Commanders, I believe, are on the clock here. That is me. You look at team needs. The Commanders need a cornerback. We traded back a couple times. We got Nakobe Dean, which I'm really, really happy about. I'm looking at interior offensive linemen here. Bernard Raymond's really interesting. The fact that he's fallen so far is really interesting. Let's see who is the best available interior offensive line. Kenyon Green is an absolute monster. I'm a big fan of Cole Strange and Luke Warner. I think all these are day two guys. Dylan Parham has tons of versatility. This is a tough choice, but I'm going to go, I think, the best one out of them, and that is Kenyon Green here for the Washington Commanders is my selection. The Commanders need to add some offensive line help, and the Bears are on the clock.
We are on the clock here. We drafted Zion Johnson with our first pick. I was happy with that. I think offensive tackle we could go to, but I just find them doubling up on offensive line to be unlikely here. So based on how the board and how it fells, I'm gonna give Myles Garrett some help on the edge and get me some Arnold Epiketti from Penn State.
Woo!
Get
My
some
friend
more
would be
edge
so
rush.
happy. My friend would be so happy.
Oh, sorry, not
Saints,
Miles Garrett. I thought it was the Browns. My bad. The Bears. We'll get some
the
edge
Bears.
rush.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm the Browns too. My fault.
All right, Saints.
The Saints, they moved up and they took a quarterback in the first round, so they're going to get a guy to protect him, and they're going to take a guy in Sean Ryan out of UCLA, who might be a guard, might be a tackle. He might not have the arm length to be a tackle, but he looked good at tackle against guys like Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. He's great in pass protection. There's some questions about run, but I think even if he is a little bit of a project, I think he's a guy who definitely will be a starter due to his athletic traits and some of his technique. And just a couple stats here. He's only given up 1 sack in the last 2 years, and he's only given up 2 sacks in 1,100 pass blocking snaps in his career at UCLA. I know Dives might not want to take a UCLA guy because Chip Kelly, but he's a guy that I've mocked a lot on day 2 to the Eagles. But I think the Saints would be a really good fit here.
Love it. And then we have the Chiefs.
Whoa. I got 2 in a row. I wasn't ready for all that. We're going to go with a corner because we didn't address it. Can I see the corner list? Because I think there's a guy there that I have, but I just wanted to make sure.
Martin Emerson.
Oh, never mind. Roger McCreary did go.
Yep.
Oh, I missed that. That's on me.
He just went to Rob.
Oh, you rascal. No, but let's look at defensive interior then. If you can give me that list. And it's gonna be a little bit of a reach. Can you scroll down a little bit? We're going all the way down to 107, and we're taking Fedarian Mathis, defensive tackle out of Alabama. He's a guy who has shown ability to get after the quarterback, and he's the type of guy who can fit in any scheme. He can fit in, any type of defense that you want to put him in, from 0 to 5 technique. He had 9 sacks last year, 12 tackles for loss, 2 passes broken up, and 3 passes broken up the year before. He's 6'4", so he gets his hands up. He's a guy who will block down passes at the line as well. So I think he's a guy who's getting severely underrated. He's probably a guy who's a 3rd or a 4th round pick, so we wouldn't talk about him in this draft if it was just me saying what I think would happen. But since I'm playing GM, I think Fedarian Mathis is a 2nd round prospect. So, and I also think he's a guy who's ready to step in right away with the traits that Nick Saban taught him on defense. I think he's the type of guy who Kansas City would be able to put in the rotation right away.
Kevo says, do you really believe that many picks will go off the board before those 2 elite offensive linemen get picked? Probably not. Probably not. We'll see. You never know. Never know, man. There's been some offensive linemen that has dropped, not for anything on the field, but anyway, Travis Jones is beyond a steal at this point, mid-round talent. Yeah. Rob, you're on the clock for Eagles.
All right, so listen, if I make a mistake here and this guy was already picked, I'm sorry. I've been in the war room. My head's been full of papers.
I'm going to be that guy when you give me a high five and I'm not giving it back.
Yeah. But look, the Eagles spent their first 2 picks on defense, which I think would make a lot of people happy. But here's the deal. If you're going to see what Jalen Hurts can be, you've got to give him some weapons. Now, the Eagles love drafting guys in 2nd round coming off of ACL injuries, don't they? They just love it. They just love guys coming off of injuries. But if this guy comes back from the injury, he was an unbelievable talent at Devontae Smith's alma mater. Did he get drafted yet? Am I?
No.
All right, good. No. I'm just making sure. So the Eagles are going to go to the wide receiver position. They liked some of the bigger guys that have gone. They would have loved to have seen, a Christian Watson fall, something like that. They're going to take a chance on another torn ACL. But oh my, if it works, the Alabama pair will be great. They're going to take John Mechie, the 3rd wide receiver from Alabama, to try and pair up as him and Devontae Smith can grow. It's just going to be an Alabama connection now, guys.
I'm good with that.
They keep to draft them. They drafted 2. They're just going to keep drafting them now. Keep drafting.
Keep coming.
Eagles taking my picks just like our Super Bowl, man.
All right, Steelers. What are you doing?
as I alluded to earlier, being the Steelers GM here, I'm not happy with our quarterback position, and I'm staring at a guy here who, in my personal opinion, has the second most upside at the quarterback position behind Malik Willis. And I think people are overlooking this guy a little bit just because of all the weapons he lost last season. Give me Sam Howell, North Carolina.
Never mind. I was reacting about something else.
Sam Howell to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Green Bay is on the clock.
Green Bay. Already?
Who is Green Bay?
That's me. I never.
That is Rob.
Already. Good God. Wasn't ready. Damn it. All right. So Green Bay, they went through some pass catches. Now they're going to go to that offensive line. No, wait a minute. I know this name went. Damn it. Did he?
Who are you looking for?
I can't see. Here's the problem. I can't find my glasses. So trying to see that board is damn near impossible for me. I'm looking for. Tell me the interior, the guards that have gone. Is it just Green?
Yeah, right now Kenyon Green has gone. Tyler Linderbaum has gone. I think that's it.
That's it.
And who? Zion Johnson. Yeah.
And Zion Johnson is gone. All right, so I'm going to take just one of the next names there. I think Green Bay needs offensive line help. They drafted a center last year, so it's not going to necessarily be in a center. But I think they'll take Dylan Parham out of Memphis as a new guard for them to protect Aaron Rodgers a little bit so he could throw to his new toys out there.
Love it. All right, Cody, your team.
That's another pick of mine taken. Another one, man. It's a great pick. Great pick. I do think too the Patriots need a starting guard as well. We lost Shaq Mason, but I was aiming for Parham, but now he's gone. So I think I'm going to shift my attention to another position of need for us, that being linebacker. Van Noy is no longer there. Who knows about Hightower and what he's going to do when he comes back? I just can't see the Patriots not taking an Alabama guy. So I'm going to take Christian Harris from Alabama.
Nice. Christian Harris to the New England Patriots. Washington Commanders are back on the clock again with pick number 55. Looking at, kind of what I'm going to do here. I've addressed the line with Kenyon Green. I've got Nakobe Dean, another blue chip talent. Where to go? I think I got some sure things with those first two picks. And with this next pick, cornerback is a really big position of need for the Washington Commanders. And I'm going to go with a guy that has he's a boomer bust guy, but 6'4" cornerback. His measurements are unbelievable. Athleticism is unbelievable. And that is Tariq Woolen out of UTSA to the Washington Commanders. Just that I would hate to see that guy going up against the Eagles on a week-to-week basis. And then we've got the Dallas freaking Cowboys, who I have. I'm going to continue to address the trenches here for the Cowboys. I think that's needed most. I did that with my first pick. And I'm going to go with I think is the second best center in this draft. For me, it is Luke Fortner, not Donovan West. For me, it's Luke Fortner, just a monster, just an absolute monster. His numbers at center are ridiculous, and the Bills are on the clock.
The Bills are on the clock. Sorry. All right. So we grabbed Jahan Dotson with our first overall pick, and I'm gonna take a little gamble again. The Bills, they just have a high-powered offense, but what's one thing they can't do well? Running the football. First running backs coming off the board here. Breece Hall, Iowa State.
Ah, nice. Breece Hall is off the board. It's a pretty appropriate time frame. I like it. I like it. Falcons.
The Falcons. The Falcons are happy with how this board broke out. I mentioned him earlier. He's my guy. I don't care that he's falling. I don't care about the RAS. I'll take wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue for Atlanta here. They already I'm sorry. I was preparing that for another team, so now I just gave away that pick. That's what happens when you're preparing two picks at the same time here. I'm actually taking a little bit of a sexier pick here. Go to quarterback, and I'm taking my other guy. I'm taking Carson Strong, who I think has an incredibly high upside. He's got by far the best arm in this draft. There's health concerns, but if the health checks out, I actually have him as a first-round talent. I think what you were able to see him do at Nevada with absolutely no weapons or talent on the offensive line around him was incredible. You see this guy just make insane comeback after insane comeback, game after game, take insane hits, throw 50-yard bombs in the face of pressure. I love this kid, and I think that he's a bit of a project, and he should go somewhere that can sit him down for the whole year. And I think Atlanta could be that place with Marcus Mariota as the stopgap guy. I think this would make a lot of sense for Carson Strong to go with one of these couple picks here to Atlanta or Pittsburgh in the second round. I think it would make a ton of sense.
All right, Pittsburgh
back on the clock here. So I think we gotta protect our future quarterback and Sam Howell. And I think they could address the guard position a little bit here for the Steelers. So I'll just take the next best one on my board, and that's Tyler Smith from Tulsa.
He's a monster, man.
He really is.
He's a monster. The tackle and interior line prospects are so good this year. So good.
Well, he's another guy like Ryan that could probably bounce inside. There's
a lot of those.
Yeah.
All right, Tampa Bay is on the clock. I'm looking at my knees. I addressed. We have this comment. Oh shit, he took John Mechie. Like, he's decent.
Well, he must have came in late because Jameson. Listen, if Jameson Williams is there at 51, I really, really hope the Eagles take.
All right, Tampa Bay is on the clock. I added some cornerback help, which was absolutely needed. I look at the offensive side now. I look at Gronk. I don't think we know, we don't know what he's doing, correct? Like, he's still kind of in the air about retirement, which means I'm going to go to the tight end spot, and I'm going to go, nice. This guy's my number 2 as well. Greg Dulcich out of UCLA. Not the best route runner. Definitely needs to get a little bit of polish, but he's very twitchy. He's got great hands, great burst. Good yards after the catch guy. Greg Dulcich here, another weapon for maybe another Super Bowl run for Tom Brady here. And let's go on to the 49ers. I think this is their first pick, correct?
This is their first pick, and they've sat around. They've waited around. It's been a long time since the NFC Championship game, a game that not many people saw Jimmy Garoppolo getting them to. But I think that they're going to need some secondary help. You got Jimmy Ward in the last year of a contract, and I think they're going to look at the safety position to a guy with some versatility, some size, some center field speed, and that's going to be Nick Cross, safety out of Maryland. I think is going to be the pick here. They're going to look to try and shore up that back end so that they're not getting burnt by the 47,000 receivers that the Rams have come opening kickoff of the season.
Dives, you're on mute.
My bad. I've gotten many comments about Nick Cross on the YouTube channel, man. He's definitely got a fan base for sure. Kansas City.
So this is the pick I was trying to make earlier. This is the pick I was getting ready. So people are really down on wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue because of some of the ways that he's tested. Let me just give you a couple other. His RAS was a 4. For anyone who doesn't know, RAS is relative athlete score. So his was a 4, which is not very good. Randall Cobb was a 3. Hunter Renfrow a 2.94. And Jarvis Landry a 0.27. And people point out that David Bell, the issues with speed. He was actually third highest in missed tackle percentage in college behind Garrett Wilson and Sky Moore. So he was able to make it happen in one of the better conferences in college football in the Big Ten. So I think David Bell will be just fine. He had 93 catches for 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns in 11 games last year. And that was his lowest touchdown total of his college career. So I think David Bell is going to surprise people at the next level and be a really, really solid pro.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. I'm going to look at real quick which interior offensive linemen are still available. I'm going to go with a guy. I know I already got Tyler Linderbaum, but at the end of the day, yeah, I do like that a lot. Is tackle a need for the Bengals?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even if it's not immediate, it's definitely a long term.
You remember when they drafted Jamar Chase, a lot of people saw them going, if it wasn't Jamar Chase, it was going to be Sewell and drafting a tackle, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, let's go BPA here and just give Joe Burrow as much help as possible. I love that pick. I love
Good
that
value.
pick.
Good value.
Yeah. And if we didn't pick him, people would be like, why do you hate Bernard Ramsey?
All right. And to wrap it up, we've got the Denver Broncos, which is Cody.
That is me, yes. And again, kind of like the 49ers, we've been hanging out for a while, just waiting. And I think they'd be ecstatic that their guy here is still on the board. I think this guy is so much upside in this guy. I'm going to go with him. I feel good about it. Give me Chad Muma from Wyoming.
Woo! It's my guy.
Yeah. We come in there and really light up that defense.
All right. Chad Muma here. Here's our first round. Get out of here. Yeah, all right. There's our first round. All right. We are an hour and a half into this thing. What should we do here? Should we do I don't know how to wrap this up. Should we do just quick general thoughts, final thoughts, and wrap it up? That sound good?
Yeah, I guess you could do a blurb on each team, if each of your teams that you had.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. I'll lead us off. I've got Jacksonville with Aiden Hutchinson. We also added.
Second round.
I can't keep track. Oh, how do we get to the second round here? Full results.
There we go. Jeez.
Oh, God, you're going to have to read my picks to me. I can't see.
I can barely see it myself. Aiden Hutchinson for Jacksonville. Jalen Petrie. Love that pick as well. Wait, there should be another one here. No,
I don't think so.
Doesn't Jacksonville have 2 second rounders?
No.
I'm thinking of the Jets.
Yeah.
All right. So Hutchinson, Jalen Petrie, definitely very high on those 2 selections. Impact defensive players for sure. Let's roll into Detroit. Detroit ended up with Trayvon Walker, and they also ended up with Desmond Ridder, a quarterback, Lewis Cine out of Georgia. Detroit.
Yeah, listen, Detroit is very happy here. They got their quarterback of the future, probably the guy that I'm kicking things. They're most interested with, but they get their edge rusher. They get a safety. Look, Detroit's a long way away. They know it, but they're getting some building blocks in the first couple rounds of this draft. So I think people will be happy. And they're guys outside of Ridder. You got 2 guys that are going to play right away and make an impact for you. So Detroit's happy.
Houston Texans ended up with Kyle Hamilton, Evan Neal at pick 13.
Insane.
They also got George Pickens in the second round. Houston Texans.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite draft of any of them that I did. With Hamilton, Neal, and Pickens. 3 first-round talents for me, in my opinion, and 2 top 6 talents with the first 2 picks. So definitely a good start to the rebuild for the Houston Texans.
All right, New York Jets, Sauce Gardner, Drake London. New York Jets also added David Ajabo, Christian Watson, 2 kind of boomer bust guys there in round 2. And I think 2 big-time players in Sauce and Drake London. I give it a B+, A-. pretty happy about those selections right there for the New York Jets. Let's roll on to the New York Giants, which is Ike Ekwonu, Garrett Wilson. Giants also got Boye Mafe, uber athletic edge rusher, and that's it. New York Giants.
I think we hit 3 or 4 of our biggest needs. I was aiming for a safety somewhere, but they got taken there early in the second. But, yeah, I'm happy with the picks. I think maybe people were surprised with the Garrett Wilson choice, but I think, again, they're trying to help Daniel Jones as much as they can, and I think those 2 first picks could really make it seem like if he's a guy or not.
I'd rather have Devontae. Just saying. All right. Let's go on to Carolina, who took Malik Willis. Did Carolina have any other picks here?
That was
Carolina. That is it. Carolina with Malik Willis.
I mean, literally, if you got one pick, you might as well, go right after the position you need. And Carolina did that. Carolina went after Malik Willis. I think that there's a lot of smoke screens that, oh, no, we're happy with who's here and this and that. They're not. They tried to get some guys. They couldn't get them. They're going to take – I feel very confident that Carolina is going to take a quarterback in this draft or with that pick. So I think the city, the fans, I think the team will be happy. They've drafted a guy that's got some really good upside. Just might have to wait a couple years as he develops.
Yep.
I can do this one real fast. The Saints picked Pickett at 8, and they picked I just left my brain. Sean Ryan in the second round, offensive line. So that's their defense was pretty good last year. They beat Tom Brady 9-0 in a game. So they're hoping that their defense can stay intact. Dennis Allen's the new head coach for Sean Payton. You get him a quarterback, you get him an offensive line, and you hope that defense remains elite and Kenny Pickett's ready to play right away. And that you give that first round pick to the Eagles next year is not in the top 20. We hope it is, though.
Seattle Seahawks got Kayvon Thibodeau, Matt Corral, and Quay Walker.
Solid.
Listen. I think it's a solid draft for a team who has decided to kind of sort of hit the reboot button. I know they're talking. Oh, we're not trading DK Metcalf. I still think there's probably a better chance DK Metcalf is traded. I also am of the sound mind as an Eagles fan that if the Eagles are going to use a first-round pick on a wide receiver, I'd rather you trade for a given commodity. I know they won't, but I'm just saying. And by the way, a given commodity is 24 years old. It's not like you'd be trading for a 30-year-old receiver. You're trading for a very young receiver. But I think the reboot button has been hit in Seattle, and I think if they could come out of this with a possible quarterback with Matt Corral, obviously Kayvon Thibodeau, who should have been a first or second pick, and then you get a Georgia linebacker and Quay Walker. It's a great first 2 rounds for you as the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. And then we've got Arizona with George Karlaftis.
George Karlaftis, yeah, that's my guy. I love George Karlaftis. This guy thrives on violence. I mean, this guy is just physical in every sense of the word, and he's the type of guy. 3-year getting late here, folks.
Yeah.
3-year production at Purdue. I think he's the type of guy who can step in right away because of that strength and that violence. I don't think he's going to be behind in the NFL game whatsoever. I think Arizona's trying to compete right now, and George Karlaftis helps them do that.
The Philadelphia Eagles with a trade up for Derek Stingley and Devin Lloyd. In the second round, they select John Mechie III out of Alabama. Rob.
If this happens, for once, through the first 2 rounds of a draft, Eagles fans can rejoice because Howie and the front office, in my opinion, would have hit a home run. You get a guy who could end up being the best corner out of this class. Now, I know right now he's not because of what we've seen the last year or so. He had a hell of a combine, a pro day today, and afterwards when they asked him, he said, "I'm still me." That to me sounds like freshman Derek Stingley. That's what I want to hear. Devin Lloyd is a guy we've been yearning for our entire lives. And then, honestly, John Mechie III, you team him up with Devontae Smith, whether it's Jalen Hurts back there, whether it's another quarterback, you finally have 2 wide receivers who you can watch grow with this team and actually turn into something. A+++ for the Eagles if that's their first 3 picks.
Love it. All right, love it. And let's wrap it up here. The Falcons. Let's do the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons got Andrew Booth. They got Jamison Williams. They ended up getting DeMarvin Leal in the second round and Carson Strong. So you get a corner of the future, a wide receiver of the future, a defensive lineman who's a 5-star prospect, and you get a swing with a quarterback prospect who's a bit of a project in Carson Strong. This is my second favorite behind what I did for Houston for sure.
And I can't wrap it up without Cody talking about the New England Patriots, and that is they got Christian Harris in the second round, and they also got where is it? Trent McDuffie, right? Yeah, Trent McDuffie there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, not one of my favorite Patriots drafts that I've done. A lot of my picks were taken, like Mechie, Jamison Williams, a lot of guys, Booth, a lot of guys were taken. But I think we did find some value. I think McDuffie could end up being a really solid player for us there. And then you look at a guy like Christian Harris, maybe not the most flashiest, but maybe one of the more safer linebackers in the draft. And again, Bill knows Alabama system, so it kind of would just make sense. So solid. I'm not crazy about it, though. I've seen better for us.
All right. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to put a lot of these polls up on the channel to see who had the best draft, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's wrap it up. Cody, last time for plugs, man. What do you got going on? Where can we find you, man?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Cody_O'Toole. I'll definitely probably be live tweeting during the actual NFL draft. But looking forward to talking more football with you guys. This was a blast. Had a great time. And it was really, really awesome being a part of this. I've been looking forward to it for a while, so appreciate it.
Man. You're welcome to join us. We'll be live streaming, doing a watch party if you want to join us, man, all night long. Days 1 and 2 for sure. Mark, do you even have any idea what you got going on?
Yeah, it's a laundry list. It's too many things. My radio show every Saturday, 11 to 1 on Fox PHL, the Gambler, streaming live on iHeartRadio. The Tough Cover Show. So check that out. Don't know who my guests are this week, so we'll figure that out. It's already Wednesday, so I should figure that out. And then you can always check me out at Chalk Talk with Shane Half. Shane, one of our best guys here, covering the drafts at the Painted Lines. So we're going to be covering our top 10 offensive lineman prospects tomorrow night at 10 o'clock after the Sixers game. So tune in and check that out. So yeah, there's other things I could plug, but I'm ready for bed.
Me too, man. I'm tired. Rob.
You catch me on Twitter at Philly_Madness. I was in heated conversations all day today because I just posed the question of, if you want Doc Rivers fired, who would you want here? And people were – the best is when people started throwing out names of guys that are under contract in other places. Like, no, this was a realistic question. Like, you can't just go back and get Monty Williams or Ime Udoka. They're gone now. Just a question that I threw out there. So putting up my opinions that typically piss people off. And then I am looking forward to, as long as I'm invited to the draft live streaming draft show, I will be on for that. We got some Sixers playoffs coming up. I just want the Sixers to win 2 rounds so people could just stop. They're trying to turn the Sixers into a hockey franchise. I can't do it. I can't go through every 2 years getting a new coach. Can't do it. That's not successful. It's not successful. Anyway, so you catch all that on Twitter. I put that out there for you.
BB Mike D'Antoni. Put Mike D'Antoni on that bench again. Oh my God, I would love it. I'm so done with Glenn.
You know what the best thing was when Dr. J put his little radio interview out that now they were referring to him as Doc on the radio today, talking about Dr. J. And I had people text me going, see, your boy doesn't even think Embiid should win MVP. And I was like, incorrect. It's the wrong Doc. Dr. J doesn't think he should be MVP. Clearly stated he believes he's MVP. I was like, let's all just calm down with our hate and get facts before we just yell.
All docs are canceled in my book.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. My positional rankings are done on the channel. I've covered every single position in this draft, top 10s. I've got first round top 10 targets for the Eagles. I'm working on my day 2 favorite targets, and these are going to be all updated as draft night starts.
Waiting for your top 10 punters, Dibes.
Matt Ariza.
Matt Ariza won.
Matt Ariza. There you go. Matt Ariza's a I think I should go on day 2. Unbelievable. Oh my God.
Love it, man. Love it. But thank you everyone for watching. Please be sure to comment Please be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, all that fun stuff. Follow my man on Twitter at Cody O'Toole, man. Check out all of his amazing content. My man Mark at Mark Henry Jr. _ and Rob at Rob. Why do I always say at Rob _ Manis?
I mean, I'm
It
just
is-
glad you're giving my Twitter handle since you didn't give it on the promo tonight.
What an asshole. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll catch you next time. Stay awesome, everyone.